so it seems like shit is heating up right now. The shit is really heating up, okay? We got Kishimoto speaking, we got Atani-san speaking, we got people speaking on my name, debates are coming back up. People playing some games today. So we'll get to all of this right now. But if you subscribe to the channel already, please make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. So yes, shit is heating up very heavily right now. And oh, they want to play games with your boy. They want to play games with your boy, okay? We got this here. We're going to start light. We got this little tweet here. And you can see Sega Lucky Lottery Sonic Frontier will be on sale for November 15th, Tuesday. They selling merchandise. You can see you got Sonic, the Cocos, what looks to be some kind of playing cards or some shit like that. You got Sage in that bitch. You got what appears to be some tablecloth. I don't know what the fuck. And yes, but let's get into the meat. It says here Sonic Frontiers has apparently finished its final stage of development. You got Daddy Quiche, the director of the game, who directed Colors, Forces, you know, hits like that. He's tweeted, this is apparently his official Twitter. It's not verified, but apparently this is Twitter. He's tweeted here. I can translate it. It says, mastering all hardware is complete. We weren't able to give feedback on all the opinions we received from everyone, but we did everything we could until the last minute of the deadline. Are you feeling a little lonely right now, along with a sense of relief after we've been dating for 5 years? Here we go. It's time to start your next job. Sound like you're dating a hooker. Anyway, I'm joking. It's just a very bad translation. The actual translation says here, not every feedback from you could be implemented in the game, but we did everything we could till the last minute. Now I'm feeling both reassured and a little sad. I worked on it for 5 years after all. Alright, let's get on with the next work. So, basically, the game has gone gold. If you don't know what that means, the development of the game is done and the game's ready to be sold. So now they're putting that shit on discs for all of you lot who still be buying physical, even though physical is basically dead. Because as we know, there's probably going to be a day one patch. There's going to be some glitches getting patched out, and you're going to end up having a digital game anyway. It's just going to be installed onto your system, but you won't have the physical case because, you know, you grew up in that era. I get it. Okay, I've got some physical games. I still got to have a physical copy of Heroes sitting right up there, even though I never play it because it's an Xbox disc. I don't even have an original Xbox, but sometimes when it's near and dear to your heart, you're going to have that physical. Okay, I get it. But digital is the way everything is going right now. Nonetheless, we've got... Well, actually, I need to talk about this quickly. It says not every feedback from you could be implemented, but we did everything we could until the last minute. So it's clear that they were listening to feedback. And this is what I said when they added Realm Momentum into one of the later updates. Because we could see in the original early build that they showed us, there was no Realm Momentum. And then there was a huge debate. The biggest debate on Frontiers amongst the hardcore Sonic fans was the momentum on the rails, and then momentum in general. And then you go and check the later build, and then now there's momentum on the rails. It's like, you were listening, okay? You implemented that based on backlash. I'm not saying based on premydaremy in particular, but definitely people saying that shit affected your opinions. So yes, Kishimoto also tweeted this, and this says, not only will this game meet the expectations of Sonic fans, but action game fans who have never played a Sonic game before will also be met with surprises that exceed their expectations. Please look forward to the November 8th release date. So yes, he says the game will meet the expectations of Sonic fans. And I can't speak for every Sonic fan, but for me, I agree it will meet my expectations, because my expectations are not ridiculous, right? I'm not expecting a masterpiece, so I'm not going to be like, it's not a masterpiece, I'm upset. I'm expecting, as I said, that 6 to 7 out of 10 range game. So if it gets that 7 from me, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's about my expectations based on what I saw. I'm not going to be overly upset about it. I made my peace with what I think the game is going to be. It's going to be decent. It's not going to be amazing for me, but it'll be decent. Okay, I'm not mad at the game. Okay, let's put it that way. All right, now we get into the soundtrack shit, and this is where shit starts to heat up. Tomoya Atani-san, the sound director of Sonic Frontiers, has also finished his enormous amount of work with the soundtrack album consisting of 150 tracks, 6 hours, 37 minutes, the longest game OST for the Sonic series. And you can see Otani's tweet here. We can translate this one, and it says basically, this week I've been in the studio with the master engineer to complete the material for the soundtrack album. It's both a master for a CD and a distribution sound source with a total of 150 songs and a total time of 6 hours and 37 minutes. This is a large scale production that has never been done before. I think I've done everything I can. It's hashtag Sonic Frontier. And you can see that I'm here. He posted a picture of the studio. Naturally, it's got the monitors here, the dual monitors there. And It says, yes, the whole 150 tracks last 6 hours, 37 minutes, and this is the largest Sonic OST I've been in charge so far. He's gassing everyone up. They're selling the soundtrack. You can actually cop the soundtrack, but beware if you do cop the soundtrack, because I went on the link, and it doesn't actually include everything. Like, it doesn't include, you know, the music from the vocal themes and the cyberspace themes and shit like that. So don't think you're going to get all the songs of this, but if you just want the memorabilia, then this is definitely very beautiful. Some people saying this is teasing another kingdom. I guess it could be. It looks like it could be some kind of blue, icy, watery kingdom. I mean, they got the green kingdom, they got the deserted kingdom, they got the volcanic kingdom. So an icy, watery kingdom, very believable. They're going the standard New Super Mario Bros. Tropes, or Super Mario Bros. 3 if you want to take it back there. But I like to say New Super Mario Bros. DS, those tropes, essentially. And this is where shit starts to get interesting. People decided to take some digs at your boy. It's only natural. But we're going to get into all of this right now. Just for comparison, 06 soundtrack and Unleashed soundtrack, which are the longest games in the series, which I guess they pretty much are, because Heroes is 4 teams, and I'm not saying you can't count all 4 teams, but it is different difficulty modes of the same game. Whereas 06 and Unleashed, I mean, 06, yeah, Shadow and Silver stories have the same kind of level aesthetics, but they do change up the level design a lot more than Heroes does with the different teams. And Unleashed is basically just one full playthrough with no real repeating of levels unless you're doing medal collecting. So if you look at the how long to beat, the 2 longest ones are 06 at 16 hours, Unleashed at 13. And 06 has very long load times. Will probably drop down a couple hours, honestly, if you cut out the long loads. But even Unleashed on PS3 had long loads as well. Like, they both had long loads. It's just that the 06 ones are more notorious because not only were they slightly longer, but there was more loading screens in general. Like, you could get like 4 loading screens to do a town mission. So I can see why they'll say that's the longest. And again, even if you cut out the load screens, you could argue with Unleashed, the medal collecting is lengthening the game, because I guarantee you Unleashed would be a very quick game if you didn't have to look for medals. But again, we're just making conversation here with regards to the length. Those are the considered to be the longest games in the series. And if we go here, they're saying 06 soundtrack's 3.5 hours, Frontier soundtrack 6.5 hours, Unleashed soundtrack 3 hours 22 minutes. So therefore, premydaremy bad. He said that the game was going to be shorter. They're referring to the videos over here, especially this video, where I said that I'm not sold on the 20 to 30 hour length because of the person who leaked the island, or who played the game, beat the first island, beat the Titan as Supersonic, and said they were able to do it in 35 minutes without using any glitches or exploits, which, if there's 5 islands in the game confirmed, according to the Steam page, you're beating one island in 35 minutes, that's pretty quick, right? So, and I said in that video, I can't definitively say that it's a 20 to 30 hour game, but I said we are allowed to question it based on this information, because you sold us on a length with a bare minimum of 20. So if we get the game and it's under 20 hours, then you lied, right? But anyway, we keep going. I've seen a lot of people suggest that the game is way short, and suggested I'm here to say, with all due respect, the evidence is stacked against you. And not to mention 06 is the longest Sonic game right now, and Frontier's OST is double the length. So therefore, based on the logic of the soundtrack being double the length, that means that the game is supposedly longer. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the logic, because if you make a cyberspace song and it's like 4 minutes long, for example, but the cyberspace level is like a minute, just because the song is 4 minutes doesn't mean that it affects the length of the game, if you get what I mean. I'm not saying that definitively means the game won't be longer. I'm not saying that. I'm just making a point that the length of the OST is not a guarantee of anything. I mean, if we look at this tweet here, someone says, Sonic Forces had a similarly long soundtrack, 3 hours 15 minutes, to Unleashed and 06, but the game itself was far shorter, even insultingly so. Thus, the soundtrack for Frontiers being 6 hours 30 minutes means little. Very logical response to make. And then Defense Squad come in. Being twice as much as literally any other soundtrack means a lot. LMAO, shut the fuck up. Here's your likes. Anyway, yeah, it's a big debate right now. But something else came out, and this has been talked about before, but we didn't see the visual evidence. So this one was talked about. So we're going to open this tweet right now. And I think this is from Gotta Play Fast Playthrough. It says here, first image reads, you are not ready, return when the time is right. Second image, access denied, this is currently locked, continue with the main story and try again later. literal confirmation that you have to return to different islands later on in the game, and yet people still complain that someone managed to beat Chronos in 35 minutes. First off, that person probably skipped cutscenes. Secondly, he didn't even level Sonic up. He's gonna regret that later. So, there's a lot to dissect here. The skipping of cutscenes, I already did a calculation. Watch this video. I did a calculation where I said at 35 minutes an island, and we could do the math again. At 35 minutes an island, 5 islands, that's 175 minutes, right? Divided by 60, you're looking at 2.91 hours. I said multiply that by 5, that gets you 14.5 hours. Add an additional 5 hours for cutscenes, you still wouldn't hit the 20-hour mark. So that's if you're 5 times slower than that 35 minutes. So I was just making the point that the odds were stacked against them for the 20-hour or 20 to 30-hour thing, right? Nonetheless, he didn't even level Sonic up. He's going to regret that later. I mean, isn't the fact that they were able to make it to the end of the first island in under 35 minutes without leveling Sonic up a testament to how quick the game could potentially be? I mean, think about it this way. We saw the leaked footage. I mean, if you didn't see it, you didn't see it. But the leaked footage of Super Sonic against the Titan of Chronos Island is there. The footage is there. And I remember reacting in the video where, I re-uploaded the video without the leaked footage because I didn't want the Sega Shinobis to come and kick my ass. I think it was this video right, yeah, it was this video right here. You can see my reaction to the boss without the footage. And I said the boss felt kind of tedious because it felt like it was taking too long to defeat the boss. Not like it was super hard, but just taking too long for the damage to be dealt. And I realized after making the video, it was probably because dude was going so fast, he didn't level up. So it made the boss more tedious. But even with that tedium, we're still able to beat that island in under 35 minutes. So one could argue that it's still really short even without leveling up. If the time it takes to level up is longer than the time it takes to just drudge it out and beat the boss without leveling up, then there's still an easier way to just beat the game without leveling up, and it will just take a bit longer on the bosses. It's not like the boss actually succeeded in killing him. So again, that's not really a strong point for defending the potential length of the game. Nonetheless, we'll look at the images here. You can see the text is a bit blurry, but you were not ready, return when the time is right. Tries to go to this particular area in Chronos Island. Apparently it's just an invisible wall you can't go past. And then you go here, and then the menu says, currently locked, continue with the main story and try again later. And they say this is a literal confirmation that you have to return to different islands later on in the game. Is that a literal confirmation that you have to? No. So this is a confirmation that you can, that there's more to do. But when they say continue with the main story and try again later, one could argue that this extra shit is not main story. Now it could be, right? You've got games like Assassin's Creed 2 where you do go to and from the main areas of the game. Like you got Florence, that's the main area. You go to the Villa, Monteriggioni, whatever. You go to Tuscany. Like you go back and forth. And then you got the other style of game like Super Mario Odyssey where you do everything you can in this sandbox, then you move to the next sandbox, do everything you can in that sandbox, move to the next sandbox, etc, etc, etc. It seems to be leaning that Frontiers is on that do everything in one island, move to the second island kind of situation. That's what it seems like. Now we could be wrong, but based on this, people are trying to claim that maybe it's going to be a haphazard, go from one island to the next, then come back, then I don't know. I don't personally see it as being that way. What I see this as is Kishimoto saying it's going to take double the length to 100% the game as it would to beat it. So this could all just be extra shit. This could all just be like you go Unleashed and there's additional acts hidden around there that you don't have to do, and you could just do the main acts, and if you feel like coming back and doing the extra shit, you can do it. That's the way I see it. Now again, I could be wrong. This could be mandatory. You could beat areas and they tell you to come back to Chronos. I just don't see it. But when it comes to the length of this game, we will find out in less than 3 weeks, okay? YouTube only allows you to stream for up to about 12 hours. After that, you can keep streaming, but the VODs will cut out, I had a similar situation before on my non-Sonic channel, link in the description, when Crash Bandicoot 4 came out, because as you will see when I get to the stream, see it says 11 hours 55 minutes. I was actually live for just over 12 hours, but once you get close to that 12-hour mark, the VOD starts to cut off. So when I do my Frontiers playthrough stream, my stream will not exceed 12 hours. All I'm saying is that if I beat the game in that first stream, we can comfortably say that Kishimoto lied a little bit. Just a little bit, okay? Because there's no way you can defend the length if I beat it in the first stream. If I have to come back and do a second stream, assuming I go over the 20-hour mark, then we can have the conversation and be like, maybe it was 20 to 30 hours. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. I want it to be longer, okay? I don't actually want it to be short, unless it's like short and sweet. If it's like 8 hours, but it was like a perfect 8 hours, cool. If you're gonna make it longer, you gotta entertain people for longer. So all I'm saying is, I don't mind if it's shorter, personally. I mean, I mind them lying, but I don't mind it being like 8 to 10 hours. But if it's gonna be longer, it better not be repetitive and stale. It better not be just increasing the grind so that it's longer. I want it to be an entertaining form of length. That's all I'm saying. But let me know what you guys think about the situation. The game has gone gold. Otani is happy with the OST. It's the longest Sonic OST. And the length debate has been reignited. We're going to find out very, very soon if the length is what they are claiming it to be. Are you going to be hyped for the game? Have you pre-ordered the game? What do you think the length is going to be for the game? Are you getting the soundtrack on vinyl? And of course, a big shout out to all my channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. BMH to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure to check out the non-Sonic channel. The link will be in the description. But that's all I have to say right now. So, Premy out.